Allow me to address now another issue which is related to career development and professional development. And this is the need for vision, but particularly, I'd like to use the term sagacity. Sagacity means the ability to foresee trends with a certain degree of accuracy. And when you combine speed of action with global awareness and the sagacity of this ability to foresee trends, future trends with a certain degree of accuracy, we find that the result, the combination of speed of action, especially when we have the speed being made possible by information technology, plus global awareness, plus sagacity, we find then that individuals and organizations have power to have a greater say, a greater control over their future. Let me give a couple of possible scenarios here. Today it is possible for somebody with refined skills baking artisan breads in Dallas, Texas, to sell that bread to connoisseurs in Tokyo, Japan. Now, a lot of people say, well, why in the world would you sell bread in Japan? Well, because they love good bread there. And if somebody has a unique recipe, there will be connoisseurs in other parts of the world who will say, hey, I want to buy that. And today it is possible to do that. It's possible to sell and sell via the internet and send through couriers like Federal Express, UPS, and so on. I would have done it myself, but unfortunately my bread is lousy. So, considering this potential scenario, ask yourself, where could you be offering your services or your products, say in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years? The limits to what can be accomplished are the limits of your own vision of the future. Here's another possibility, here's another scenario for the future. We know today that the number of elderly people living in the richest economies is about to surpass the number of children. We have couples having fewer children, younger couples having fewer children, and because of changes in lifestyle and better health care, we see life expectancy increasing in the richest economies. So there are already more children living in the, and when we look at the other side, I mean, there are already a larger number of children than elderly people living in the poorest economies. So consider this scenario then. It's possible that in the future, say 25, 35 years from now, to see elderly persons in the richest economies being provided with health care and other essential services by professionals who will have been born in the poorest economies, or in what today we consider the poorest economies of the world, and yet who will have been educated in some of the richest economies. Elderly people in the not too distant future being provided health care and other essential services by professionals who will have been born in today's poorest economies, but who will be trained and educated in some of the richest economies. This should have tremendous implications for those who are in education and also in non-profit organizations. Okay. Now, no one can tell for sure whether these scenarios that I just mentioned will actually happen. But we know that information technology empowers creative people all over the world to bypass calcified hierarchies that hamper progress, and then, by bypassing those hierarchies, effect radical changes in business and society. Therefore, professional and organizational effectiveness, and consequently professional and organizational survival, depends on identifying, hiring, empowering, and retaining these kinds of individuals.